Well, I'm a little bit, I guess you could say, upset. I don't know. Lot of thinking about things. Yesterday I had a good day anyway. Yesterday was a good day. They had the Male Lives Matter, Men's Lives Matter thing. A couple girls through, and a couple people showed up. It was good to have a good day out, meet and see some familiar faces, and just get to have some fun and sit around and good conversation. But not as many people as I was hoping to show up didn't show up. But that's become the norm. Some of who I know, long-standing friends, know we've been at this for hell since 2008. We're trying to organize Americans to take into consideration the reality of what we're facing in our country. And I'll tell you over the years how many group meetings we've had and how many people, everybody's online warriors. Everybody's got their groups online. I'll tell you in the last near 15 years how many of them is just disgraceful. And that's what I'm saying. You get to realize in the last 15 years, and I look at all these so-called patriot groups, 3%er groups, and, militia groups, these fake, all these idiot groups that are online, and these people who are behind it, and you go out and they come to these meetings, they have their little, you can tell their agenda of trying to somehow capitalize profit off of the American fear, and somehow they think that, you can turn this into a business. I guess why not? The politicians do it. That's what they're doing right now with all these campaigns they're running, asking for donations and this, that, playing off of the fear of the American people, which the majority of this country is a bunch of goddamn cowards. That's pretty clear. And it's always been that way, though, since the beginning, Like I keep saying over and over in many videos, in 1777, 3% of the nation rose up and made this nation possible. The other 97% was nothing but worthless cowards that would have gone to their knees and kissed King George's ass, right? I'm going to try and keep this PG so that I get angry, and sometimes I notice the last couple of videos I get my mouth I don't like cursing. I try not to, it's and if I get upset and I resort back to my childhood mentality, and I grew up in Newark, New Jersey in the ghettos, and I was a very foul-mouthed child, so if I'm not paying attention to it, it can start flowing, and it's not really to be vulgar, it's just a habit from childhood where back in that time it was a normal situation where I grew up. But I try to keep it PG, so if God forbid any of people who follow me watch these want to show it to have their kids, I don't want to have it where the kids don't get it, because I do say a lot about history and things to consider that I think the posterity need to know, so to keep everything all inclusive, I'm trying to watch the language. So some of the things, right now, the state of this country, I talk to people, and everybody I talk to is like we're in the twilight zone, and I get it. It seems like we're, because, I'm 56, and I look back, man, I'll tell you what, if you had asked me 30 years ago if I would have thought this situation, this state of the United States would have been possible, I'd have said no way. No way, just never. And that's what, I remember as even being a child, myself as a kid, shining shoes, and events happening around the world, how many people, when they would be talking, I'd be shining shoes, people would be talking about world events, and they would be saying how that'll never happen in America. You never see that in America. Well, I'll tell you what, everything I heard somebody say you'll never see in America when I was a kid, we've seen in America in the last, 20 years. It's just been unprecedented events taking place in this country, like unbelievable. And, it really, and I know a lot of people, I even got some people that follow me are Democrats. I'm surprised, but it's true. I have some. And then some of the Democrats, though, they say, you're always picking on the Democrats. And and I get it. I say to them, look, you're a Dino. You're not really a Democrat. You're not, and you don't really, and most of them who do the due diligence leave the Democratic Party. And if they can't tolerate becoming a Republican, they'll become an independent, which is, I guess, better than a Democrat. It's just a good idea that they wake the hell up and understand the truth of the evil of the Democratic Party. But it's not that I'm picking on the Democratic Party. I'm just telling the truth. And the truth is that Democrats have been the enemies within since this country was founded. And the majority of the issues we're facing right now in this country are all Democrats. Now, I'm not saying the Republican Party is any kind of an uplifting hero situation, because you know what? The Republicans right now are nothing but a bunch of worthless scumbags. And it's a fact, the truth. These are lazy, worthless, ass-sitting, for the majority, attorneys that aren't doing nothing. These people become lazy, sitting on their high pay welfare as elected officials, and they do not. What are they doing? What are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. Outside of little Marguerite Green, The majority of all of them, what they're doing is every time there's an issue to incite fear, they're sending out text messages, lying to the public, saying, we need your donations to do this. We need your look. You don't need nothing to do nothing. Stop robbing the goddamn public. And to the American people, stop being idiots and sending these people money. Because Trump raped you for 5 freaking years with this. How many billions of dollars the Trump family took in over the last 5 years to do what? In the end, after 4 years, like me, I'm so pissed. 5 years I supported that man. I always respected the Trump family and Donald Trump all my life, even before he ran for president. But what he did in 4 years running the whole campaign run up to it, and then 4 years as president, and then in the end to walk away. Look, and I know a lot of people upset me, but I'm going to say this, and I hope Donald Trump gets to watch this. Let's have that debate, because I got a lot of people right now don't like my view on Donald Trump and the Trump family. Well, let me tell you something. This is my question to Donald Trump then. If you, in your business mind, had invested into 4 years into something, and where a person had an agenda, of what's the agenda and goal was clear, that person verbally communicated the goal to you, that he was fully aware, knew the goal, and he went for 4 years with the support of the entire nation, doing what he, the nation backing him and there for him, and in the end he drops the ball, totally walks away, and hands everything back over to the very criminal establishment that he was elected to be put in there to remove. Walked away and handed it. You handed the American people and the nation right over to the very criminal establishment you were elected to remove. And you failed, Donald Trump. You failed. You walked away. Now, I can't say you didn't. You demonstrated you had the ability to do great things. You did a lot of great things in your time. You showed an example, great ability to how this country could be managed and run if the proper practices and methods of somebody with strong approach would do it. And what gets me is over the 4 years, you really took a strong stance against foreign interest with that of our totalitarian enemies. You really demonstrated what appeared to be solid courage and ability to stand your ground. But in the end, you walked away like a puppy with your tail between your legs, like a freaking coward. And you let the American people down and this whole nation down. You failed. You failed. Now, I understand a lot of people want to say he's going to run again in 2014. I really don't see it, but I do see him playing along with everybody else and his family playing along with everybody else with the donation text scam that's been running, and with tax season coming and everything like that. You look into it, you realize these people are just racketeering off of the American people's fear. We already pay these people with tax dollars. Not so much Donald Trump didn't need pay. He was a multi-billionaire, but I'm telling you right, he said too for 4 years he was doing this for nothing. He didn't do this for nothing. His family made hundreds of millions of dollars off of him being president, as well as him with the money they took in on the campaign runs, the text runs, the donation runs, the friggin' memorabilia that he sold, the hats, the shirts, everything that he did. I mean, the money they took in was phenomenal freaking money. So believe me, he didn't do this for nothing. The little money he was donating back of his salary wasn't even a 1% of what he was making. Okay, or his children were making in the Trump Corporation. Not even 1%. Believe me, they raked it in big. So he did not do anything for nothing. Okay, that's a straight up lie. Okay, and I'm not trying to take away from the guy did incredible things. But here's the deal. In the end, what of what you did, Donald Trump, still stands? None of it. You know why? Because you walked away. You walked away. You sat there and let them literally bitch slap you down, steal the election, rob the election, not just them too, the Rhino Republicans who were complicit with them. The entire corrupt swamp of Rhino Republicans and no good scumbag Democrats all together literally bitch slapped you down, took it from you, and did whatever they wanted and ran you out of Washington like a little puppy with your tail between your legs, and that's how you walked away. You looked humiliated like a broken man when you came out of that White House. And I don't understand why. You had the world's largest military behind you, and the world's largest armed militia behind you. And we have not yet heard from you why that happened, why you failed. Okay? Now you, with your attitude toward everybody about success and that you have no tolerance for failures and no tolerance for losers and this, that, well, neither do I. Neither do I. I don't claim to be you, Donald Trump, but I'm going to tell you what. I supported you for 5 years. I vigorously supported you, promoted for you, did all I could, and donated money to you, for in the end, you to fail. And I'm pissed off. And as well, I got a right to be, and so should many Americans. But, there's no good in that with either neither. Right now, we hear all this stuff with Lynn Wood and all these Republicans and a bunch of talking heads again. Bunch of bullshit, because I don't see nothing being done. The only person I see actually really trying to do anything is that little Marjorie Greene. That's it. And she's all alone. She's like a poor little soldier out there all on her own. Because all the rest of the Republicans are nothing but a bunch of worthless talking head, dipshit, idiot attorneys that don't do nothing. And the reason they're elected attorneys like Ted Cruz and all of them, I don't give a damn. You're a bunch of losers. You couldn't make it in the real world. Your only option was an elected position for $172,000 or $174,000, whatever you freaking idiots get a year for doing absolute. And where are you at? What are you doing? Nothing. Let me ask you people right now, who is doing? I'll tell you, the Democrats are doing a lot. Hear a lot of noise from the Democrats. They might not be doing anything good for the country, but what? They're out there working to ruin the country. They're doing a good job at that. They're doing that, and they're out there causing a lot of racial issues, upset, social disorder, chaos all over the place, insanity. What we're seeing, and who's loving it? Our foreign totalitarian enemies. The people who are looking at this country and hating this country have been hating it for 244 years. It's been here. The totalitarian communists of like China, the totalitarian socialist regimes of the Muslims, socialist Venezuela, dictators abroad. They're loving this because they're watching the great America decay from within, and that's what's happening. And it's, and the whole fall of it is just idiocy. I want to take a quick look at some things here in relation to what I'm talking about, and we're going to have this talk here because we got to you got like and I hate the thing, because I'm going to tell you what too real quick. I'm going to just say something from the get-go. Those of true Americans, of white, black, Hispanic, Mexican, Irish, Polish, whatever, real Americans, you're not who I'm talking about, okay? You know who you are, okay? But we have a lot of, and I'll tell you what, when because I have a lot of customers I know that are Mexicans, that are Mexican Americans, they don't even want to be called Mexican American. That's the thing. Let me tell you too, like African American, I know real true Americans that are black, they don't want to be called African American. They've never even been to Africa. You've heard them say it. They don't even don't do it, because you know what? This is all Democratic policy to divide people. And you have like Polish American. Anybody look, if you're dead set on being a Polish American, go to hell back to Poland. What are you doing here? If you're so loyal to well, I would say Poland's kind of not that bad, but like if you're a German American and you want, because you have German, go back to socialist Germany. Get the hell out of here. Go. What are you doing here? Okay? Because this is America. Either you're an American or you're not. I'm sick of it. The Declaration of Independence was not at all it was not like kumbaya, everybody come here to America, everybody's welcome, bring your nation, your culture, and no. Our Declaration of Independence was a separation from that of the world's totalitarian regimes, cultures, and ideologies of which we did not agree with, and who did not agree with our idea of freedom, liberty, and self-governing. They didn't agree with us. We didn't agree with them. We gave a notice of Declaration of Independence that we were going to be independent from them. We fought the world to be who we are. Okay? Now, if you're a part of that of which we rejected in our right to do so in our Declaration of Independence, and you want to come here and then establish here what it was we rejected, no. You come here to be either American and accept American principles and values of our Americanism and our culture, or don't come here at goddamn all. We got immigration where people can come in. You know what we need? Deportation. We need a deportation system that ejects goddamn people out. And I'll tell you one thing, we need some things going on with our government to start something that expedites the removal of corrupt, treasonous, no good government, because right now we have nothing but no good, scumbag, treasonous government. This government, and I'm not talking now, the Republicans, I guess you could say, yeah, they're just as guilty, because you know what? They're complicit in doing absolutely nothing. They're just really, these people, they don't work. Nobody's doing jack, crap, nothing. Really, what are they doing? I'm asking you. I keep looking. The only one I see trying to do anything, like I said, a little Marjorie Greene. She's really doing things. She's trying. And she's struggling like hell, because you know what? Nobody's backing her. While she's doing what she's doing, they're all off just like everybody else, doing whatever it is they do because they're not doing crap for this country. Nothing for this country. Nothing for the American people except getting their pay every month, auto deposit. That's about it. And out living and doing whatever they want and evading away from all the chaos and insanity in their little private wall communities. They're just ignoring it. Nobody's doing nothing. Republicans aren't doing nothing for anybody. And it's disgraceful. It's just disgraceful. But anyway, we're looking at the situation here. Now, from a public perspective of me, I talk to people every day. I try to. And then even this morning, I went to the gym and then I took a little stroll and just talk to people at the park, whatever, casual conversation, and I get the gist of the public opinion and view of things. And I'll tell you, most of the people who appear to be down to earth and aware of what's going on are just like, this is like the Twilight Zone. And I get it, because I'm like that too. It's like the Twilight Zone. And we're all like, what the hell is going on? Because you know what? And the government has us in a situation where I see it with the majority of people, like working class. They have responsibility. They got their kids. They got, a home. They got, car payments. They got, doctor bills or whatever. And, they got their business to run or their careers to manage. And, by the time they get home, the government shut down. They watch the news. You can't trust the the news media is worthless right now. The news media is nothing, has converted completely 100% to nothing but an advertising agency that will say and propagate out to the public and the posterity of this country whatever they're told to say as long as the money's right. They don't give a damn. There's no ethical or morals or values or integrity in news whatsoever, any of them. They're all just disgraceful. And I'm telling you what, the people who are the talking heads on the news that are complicit in doing this, out there just reading the script and lying to you are a disgraceful, inhumane, no good, worthless human being who is undeserving of the great blessings of this country. You know what? If you are a disgrace to your family, to the history of this nation. You are just a disgraceful, inhumane, worthless human being to get on TV, read a script out to the public, not giving a damn if it's lies or not, just to get a good paying job and hold your job, and you don't give a damn about the cause and the effect of what you're doing if you're spewing out lies and inciting things in this country, because that's about all you talking heads on the goddamn news are doing across this country. You're just spewing out the lies being dealt to you with total disregard for the country, the state of affairs, a reality of the truth. You have no integrity in you whatsoever. And I'm sorry, all you are is you're no different than these worthless scumbag politicians. You're just doing what you got to do for yourself. You're a selfish, ungrateful, no good, disgraceful American. You're undeserving to even be in this country, really. You don't deserve America. You're a disgraceful, no good, really. You're disgraceful. I'm just saying. Now, I've had it with you people. I've had it. But, but now I'm just going to say, and I'm going to show you right here some things that it just racks my mind. We got all these racial issues going on, and, I hate to refer because we have Americans, and it's not me, it's just the way everything makes it happen. Somebody gets shot, there's got to be a color to who it is, right? Now, we get shootings go on right now, and right now it's like the only ones who get noticed is if you're black. If you're black and you get shot, oh my God, forget about it. It's going to be all over the news. If you're black and you get shot, it's going to be all over the news. It's going to be riots. And you know what? The black people in the Democratic-controlled areas, they're praying the cops. They want that. I guarantee you, and this is no joke. This is no joke. Somebody told me, and we were talking about it, and it just came, and I was like, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. They say that, that in the inner city area, people are actually trying to incite stuff so that the cops come out and there might be a shooting, somebody gets killed. You know why? Because it's like a shopping spree. It's like, this is how sick it's gotten. This is how sick it's got. This person that I was talking to was a truck driver going through Atlanta, Georgia, and said that, he's hanging out by there, and, he's not a white American guy. He's an American, but he's, I don't want to say who he is, but he was in Atlanta, Georgia, among people, and he said, they're actually trying to incite something. Like they know somebody might be carrying or something on the street. They're trying to instigate shit with him and somebody else. So if something breaks out and the cops show up, somebody's going to get shot. Because they know if they do that and then there's a riot and it's in the shopping area, they can go and it's like free shopping. They get to go and loot the mall and stores. And this is how sick it is. Now, this kind of reminds me of the insanity we know and we see around the world, because this is how despicable the Democrats are, and they fit right in because their allies are the same way. When you look at the Islamic Muslim nations, right? When you realize I could probably bring these things up. I know I could. I could probably do that real quick. While I'm talking, I'm going to ramble on this. And I go to YouTube real quick. I'm sure I probably got it in my history because I was just recently looking. I'm going to show you what I mean by like inhumanity, okay? What we're seeing right now in the inner city areas by the Democrats-controlled areas to what we see actually in the real world, you know, in the world around us with total totality. I have it right here. I just want to play something for you here. We'll just take a look at this and you can get a gist of what I'm trying to, maybe get a gist of what I'm trying to say.
أنت بوعيك حكيت عن الشهادة كشيء جميل، أنت بتعتقد إنه شيء جميل؟
Understand, Shadia is the Muslim encouragement by their God, Allah, and their Quran, and the ideology of Islam to go like strap bombs to yourself and blow yourself up and kill other people because they're not Muslims. That's what Shadia is. This is an Islam. I know they're supposed to be the religion of peace, but this is the truth that they don't tell you. And as you can see, this is on foreign TV and news. I have these clips that I save, and I actually save them because you know what? When they realize they're being used and people are becoming aware by them, they delete them off YouTube and they hide them so that people can't find. So I actually record these things and keep them. So, and I want to just go over this right here as a thing that was, this is aired in the Islamic states by the Muslims. And these are kids. So, and I just want you to kind of play along here so you see it. These are Palestine children aspire.
حكيت عن الشهادة كشيء جميل، أنت بتعتقد إنه شيء جميل؟
الشهادة كتير شيء جميل جدا جدا، كل الناس بتتمنى الشهادة.
أيوة.
لأنه يعني إيش في أحلى من إنك تروحي على الجنة.
طب مين أفضل؟ السلام مع وجود حقوق كاملة للشعب الفلسطيني ولا الشهادة؟
الشهادة. أنا أخذ حقي بعدين أستشهد.
ماشي. يسرا أنت راضية بالكلام هذا؟
طبعا الشهادة أحلى لأنه
I just want you to understand while you're reading these things that you know, understand that what they're saying is not, you know, because the Muslims like to put it off and they know that the ignorance of American or Westerners don't understand what they're saying. Shahada is suicide bomb. Suicide, like kill. It's mortaring yourself, like killing yourself, blowing yourself up, killing non-Muslims. These little kids are saying, you know, it's sweet, there's nothing better than this, because they're indoctrinated by Islam to believe they're going to go to paradise for doing this. The little girls believe they're going to become the black-eyed virgins for the hero mortars who blow themselves up, the men. And, you know, that's going to be their paradise. And the men believe they're going to get 72 virgins, black-eyed virgins when they go. I'm not lying. This is, you look this stuff up. It's in the Quran. This is what Islam is all about. But I'm saying, I want you to realize that they indoctrinate and brainwash these children to think this is sweet, this is wonderful, this is what, and these kids want to go and do Shahada. They want to go, they want their parents to strap a bomb on them and send them off to go kill non-Muslim people in the name of Allah. This I know it's supposed to be the peaceful religion of ideology, and they're not supposed to do that. Well, here they tell you that. But in truth, like if you listen to real Muslims that know, that were raised there and left Islam because they woke up to it, of what, like I'm going to give you an example of what a Muslim looks like when they wake up to it. Let me, and then we'll get back to this. I got a video on that too. What a Muslim, just so you get an idea. Where's he at? Here he is. Okay, I got this. I want to we'll look at this. This is I'm going to just say this is a Muslim who actually considered the reality of what somebody debating about Islam said, and then looked at it and realized the lies of Islam. He realized this on live TV that Islam's a lie. And this is how it happened.
هو مش عارف انه هيروح لربنا، مش هيلاقي محمد بديع جنبه ولا خيرت الشاطر، هيتدفن في متر يجيب له ايه اكتر من 33 مليون في الشارع، ما بيشوفوش امي، مش عارفين اللي حصل في البلد بسببهم. قعدوا يتكلموا عن مؤامرات، بيكلمني عن ايرادات في الخارج والداخل. هو اللي بعت لبريف وبعت لأوباما ويحترم الأمريكان. هذا الرجل ما فيش راجل قاعد في الدنيا رئيس جمهورية يطلع على ذهبه يحث أنصاره على الإرهاب. هو عاوز يقتتل صباحا. كل ده حرام، كل ده بيفعل الوطن حرام. وتعبر محمد مرسي حياته وما.
Now I don't know if you see what he said right there. That's the important part right there, right here. Shame on the imams for brainwashing our youth. May they burn in hell. An eternity in hell.
النبي.
They should be executed for seducing our children to die for a lie. You see? And now they're admitting this. They know what they're doing. And we're going to go back now so I can show you the reality, because when you realize the reality that these people are literally, by the ideology and tenets of Islam, and the brainwashing and indoctrination, they literally can breach the natural mothering instincts to want to protect their children and indoctrinate and brainwash a mother to actually willfully and wantonly strap a bomb onto their own children, or convince their own children to go off and commit the martyr themselves, blow themselves up, or to go kill people until they get killed in the name of Allah, and they're happy about it. And this is like right here. I'll just give you an example so you get an idea. Mother of 15-year-old martyr. I wish his brother had been killed instead. This is what, she sent him off.
خبر يعني حزين ومفرح يعني بالنسبة له، يعني هو يعني كان حابب الشهادة من زمان. كل الأطفال اللي زي هيك يعني في سنه.
Now that's important what she just said, right? She's talking about her son. She says here, I just want to show you so you understand I'm not making this stuff up. He always liked the Shahada, so that he always liked her son, her own child. He always liked it, like we talk about our kids like Christmas, right? She's talking about her son going and committing suicide. He always liked that. And then, but here's the important thing. See what she says right after. All children at his age do. Think about that. That's the reality of Islam. That's the reality of a foreign totalitarian regime that's been around for 1,400 years, indoctrinating, brainwashing these people who they got enslaved under a totalitarian ideology with this fake religion of Islam. And this is what they do. Now, the Democrats are allied, we know, in this country, right? Because the Democrats open their platform up for the Islamic Muslims right here in America. And the Democrats operate the same way. You see what they're doing? The Democrats have the majority of black Americans under their control in the Democratic-controlled districts. And right now, you got all these black Americans in an uprise with the racial issues and upheaval, except for the ones who are aware and awake and are not falling into the Democratic indoctrination and brainwashing, luckily, there's a large, as well, minority of black Americans that are true, loving Americans that are sane and they know what's going on and they're aware. And even with the people in the ghettos, it's not that they're black. It's not because they're black. It's not because they're white. Because you know what? Anywhere you find the infectiousness of the Democratic propaganda that they do to these communities, because they manufacture these communities. Every Democratic community, which I'm going to prove to you, is like this. And if you're black, white, Hispanic, Mexican, yellow, green, purple, doesn't matter. If you're in that Democratic community, as like I said in previous videos, there's that book, in criminal psychology, they say when you can take an innocent, good standing man and force him into a society like a Democratic district and make him live there, and at first he's abhorred to the conditions and the poverty and the crime and the violence and the domestic violence and the drugs and whatever. He's, oh my God, yeah. But if he's forced to linger there and stay there, he'll become accustomed to it. And if he starts to go out and associate with it, he becomes it. And that's a fact, you see. And the Democrats know this. Now, these people in these communities are deprived of proper education. The education system there is more of a prep school for prison than it is any kind of education for a pursuit for happiness. And this is a fact. Okay, and the Democrats are in control. I mean, it's horrible what goes on. And I know, I grew up in the city of Newark, New Jersey. I can tell you, they didn't care like me. I never even went to school until I was like 12, 13 years old, and they didn't even care. Okay? I could go in the front door and out the back door. They really didn't care. That's the way the inner cities are in the Democratic-controlled districts. They don't give a damn. The stupider you are, the better you are, because you know what? That's the way they like it. And when you look at these places and you realize this is where the worst of all that's happening, all the black shootings and everything are taking place, and it's not because the cops there are targeting blacks. If it was a black cop shoot a black guy, you don't see nothing on the news. That's okay. If it's a black guy just in the street fight shoots a black guy, oh, that's okay. But a white guy shoots a black guy, that's a problem. That's a problem. But a white guy shoots a white guy, no, that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter. That'll get the news, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't. The truth doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. They just want to twist everything. And I'm going to show you how they twist it. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you facts. So pay attention and share this. Share this video because we need people to consider these facts. We really need people to consider these facts. Okay? And so we're going to take a look at this. Now, like here, we got people, 988 people have been shot and killed by the police in the past year. That's this year, 2021, right? And this is the thing I want to show you right here. Rate of shooting remains steady, as you can see right here. You know, since Donald Trump, though I'm very upset with Donald Trump, but I'll tell you what, since Donald Trump left, this is what the results are. And this is the thing, too, I'm going to keep interrupting in this because I want to know from Donald Trump. I want to know, really, I want answers, you know, because you're quiet. You're really quiet, you're not saying nothing. Okay, you're not giving anybody any, and I don't see nothing really being done except for a bunch of talking heads. I know I keep getting a lot of texts asking for money from all you freaking worthless talking heads. And I don't understand what you think you're going to do because all the billions of dollars you got over the 4 years with Donald Trump in there, you didn't goddamn do nothing. Right now, we're in a worse goddamn state we were from the time of 2016. The same, right back to it is. Looking, and I'll tell you what, they're not even reporting on. It's no different than it was under Obama again. They're hiding right now. They had a Muslim try to cut a woman's head off, was shot and killed up there in Brooklyn. Didn't even hear about that on the news, did you? Running with a knife. They don't even tell you his name. They don't want it because they don't want to let you know it was a Muslim. Okay? Tried to cut a woman's head off up there. We have 12 people now killed already this year by the Islamic Muslims and terrorist attacks. And I'm telling you right now, near 12 that we know of that they're being told about. But from what I'm understanding right now, there's double that amount almost that we're not even being told about. They're being documented as like, you know, muggings or this, that, and they know what it is. They're just intentionally freaking hiding it. People behind hiding it, you are scumbag, treasonous, no good traitors to this country. Really, disgraceful, inhumane. The authorities involved with it, the FBI, the CIA, the local police, the state police, who are all complicit in this hiding it. You are the worthless, low-life scum of this goddamn country. Do you understand what you're doing to the own American posterity with this and the threat you're placing this nation? You're a treasonous, no-good scumbag traitor who should be indicted for treason, held accountable, charged for treason, and sentenced by the highest goddamn possible punishment of treason. That's what every single one of you complicit scumbags deserve. But we're going to take a look at this right here real quick. This right here, I want to show you. This now, everybody's complaining about black people getting shot, right? So for the black, not so much the black, I know but like Candace Owens, people like her, or the average working class or business class black American, look, I'm not including you in this, because I know many that are good freaking people, okay? And I hate to even refer to anybody as a black American or a white American. I hate to do that, but, you know, the way the structure is right now, that the Democratic, everything's divided. You got to define everything, right? It's funny how we can have black and white people, but we can't have male and female. It's just like, you know, oh, how about all, you know what, I got to resolve it. It's just being a jerk right here. I'm being a jerk comical, right? Why don't black people start identifying as white people? Maybe that'll resolve the problem. You know, like they have the Democrats, right? You could do that. We could try that. I'm not being an ass. I know that's kind of stupid. But anyway, it's an idea, though. It's possible. It probably could go over. I'm just saying, it really could. It could. Look at what the, you know, unicorns and rainbows. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's going on. But here, look at this chart, right? This shows, like here, by color, by race, killings. And it even now includes 2021 right here. So, this year so far, 50 white people have been killed. 30 black people have been killed. 20 Hispanic, which would be Caucasian. So that's 70 white. And the unknowns, I've done my own research on this right here. The majority of the unknowns were, this is crazy. How do you not know, right? This is the thing I get. How do you not know? And to tell you the truth, I look at the unknowns mostly exist within Democratic states or county districts. And they're white people by Caucasian of either Hispanic, Mexican, or Indian, like not a Native American Indian, foreign Indian, or Muslim white, right? But they don't want to list them as Caucasian because, wow, you know, because then you'd have like almost 170 Caucasian versus 30 blacks. Whoa, would that number be like, really? Wow. Think about that. Because no joke, when you look at this 112 number, go do your due diligence on this. Go to the Department of FBI. You can find out, because I did a lot, I'm telling you right now, I'm not telling you take my word for it. Go do, because if I tell you, you can question me, right? So you know what? Question me and go do the facts on 112 right here, the unknown. And you'll find out that when you look into, because you can find out about the police report, the incident that happened. And that's what I did. I started going, okay, well, let's go in, let's find this one, let's find. And I pull them up, and then, you know, you can find like local mugshot things in the newspapers. You find, oh, God, that guy's white. Oh, well, he's Mexican. Oh, he's Spanish. Oh, you know, or, oh, he's a Muslim. I'm telling you right now, they're hiding the Muslims like crazy about the crimes going on with the Muslims right now on assault batteries that are getting shot for trying to cut people up and attack people with knives and whatever. They're not telling us. You talk about it, it's almost as bad as COVID. Really, it's getting that bad. But anyway, like I say, if you were to take the Caucasians, not so much white, just Caucasian of whatever race, Caucasian skin, white, right? Of the Hispanic, white, and that percentage of what I seen was like no joke. There was no black, or you know, no like Jamaican or anything like that. There's no black. Anybody black gets stuck under black. It was because it's pretty. I guess I don't know. They could tell a black person, but on the unknown, they can't tell he's Caucasian. Right? That's the way it goes because it doesn't fit the agenda. Or actually, what it does is like I'm saying. If you look at 50 right here and then 20, that's 70 with the Caucasian Hispanics on top of the whites. That's 70 killed this year, and then you have another 112. Okay, and I'll even, you know what? I didn't see any black in the 112. And I looked up probably close to 20 cases before I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. But we'll just say 50-50. So say we divide that right there. We take 60 or 55 blacks, we give them 55 to that. So then that would put 80 blacks versus 142 whites. The numbers are way higher with whites, but hold on, there's more, right? That now what we're seeing here in the reality of the facts I'm showing you, because this right here is the number of people shot. This is by Society Crime and Law Enforcement. This is an actual official statistics site of the government. So understand, I'm not lying. This is not some fluke site. This is the actual FBI reporting site, you know, where the stats are guaranteed. They even got, you can download the PDFs and get the whole breakdown. And that's what I'm saying too. You can go to PDF and get the whole breakdown even on that unknown. I have a PDF on it, but you know, it would take too long to go through it all. Do it on your own. Do your own diligence so you're aware. But here now, let's move forward because I want to show you something. This right here is the 2016 election by county, and underneath it is the murder by county. Now the funny thing about this one is this map. This part right here at the bottom, you see this, where I don't know if you can see my arrow moving. They whited that out on Snoops, and they say that this right here is questionable. It's unverifiable because they say they don't know if this is the actual Murder County map. Well, let me tell you something. Right here, I have the actual map that it is, and you can see it comes from the Crime Preventative Research Center, and it's an actual factual map. So I just wanted to make that clear that the map that's being used in here is an actual factual map that has, you can find it even on the FBI site, and it's in the site of what we're, and as we go forward, we're going to see this. So we'll look at it as we go forward. Where's it at? Right here. It's in here. So I mean, you know, if you go through the PDF, you'll find that same map. It exists in there. But we're looking at this right here. Now, the blue in the upper map of the election represents the Democratic districts and counties and states. The red represents the Republican. Now, I'm not, you know, I'm just saying the Republicans don't, the elected officials are worthless. If we didn't have the elected Republicans, it would be no different right now. Because they don't do any damn thing anyway. They're not doing nothing. And it's not the matter that they're just the elected ones that the people of the working and business class in this country elect and they put in. But they're not doing nothing anyway. And they don't have to do nothing because you know what? The working class and moral valued American people sustain their communities to a higher standard, clearly, than that of the Democrats. Because the Democrats are the highest in crime rate, poverty, drugs, domestic violence, broken families, illiteracy, failing schools, no economy, no economics, no jobs, you know, racial issues, murder, abuse by cops, county abuse by government, you name it. It's all in the Democrats for the majority in this nation. And we hear about it. We hear about this, the majority of them, but there's such a minority situation going on. They make up such a minority of the nation, but they get the majority of all the attention, don't they? They do. And, you know, if you really break it down, like I'm saying, like you look at this right here. This is a God's honest truth. Look at this. If you were to take this map, and the color thing is what throws you, because I've done this. I've taken a transparency of this map, laid it over this map. That map turns completely red. Because you see the crime down here in red, right? It literally blocks out all the blue. All the blue is gone. Like, there's not one Democratic area that's not like you see with the Republican areas here, or independent areas of just the I call that the American area, because the Democrats are the enemies within. These people are allied with the totalitarian Islamic Muslims, and they are the ones who actually control the majority of the black minority in this country, the district, because I don't know why. Like the blacks, you're complaining. Why the hell do you keep voting in these Democrats? Who do you think is the ones responsible for the training of the cops in your Democratic-controlled districts and counties? Who? Who do you think is the Democrats that you elect? You know, and this is the funny thing, like Maxine Waters, who has like one of the most beat-down homeless districts in the goddamn country. Her and Nancy Pelosi, too. Nancy Pelosi's, I think Nancy Pelosi's district has like only 5% that speak English. Yeah, think about this. You want to know how she's running the election? These people don't even speak English. She's got one of the highest immigrant districts of Democrat, and I think honestly what's going on is they go and they vote for these people. These people they're not even articulate enough in American culture, values, and English to be able to vote. They don't know, and I think that it's so corrupt, it's disgusting. But this is what's going on, and so I mean, we have to really wake up and consider what's going on. Now, you watch the news. This is something I'm going to say right now. The news people, the talking heads. Now, you people are pushing this agenda like this, and you're inciting these uprising and these riots by your agenda. And when I was younger, there was reporters actually would go out on the ground and do the hard leg work and talk to people and get the gist and try to find the root of it. Like I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, this is not a white and black issue. This is not a racial. This is a governmental issue. Because all the issues we're seeing are being manufactured and produced by the government. Because the money is phenomenal. Right, and the Republicans are not so much taking a role in it because they're just sitting back rolling in the money from it is what they're doing. Our lazy, no good elected Republicans, what they're doing is they got because like I say, the majority of the country is coward people, even though they're good working class Americans who, are business class, working class, career class Americans. The majority are cowards. They're not, and they're scared as hell with all this stuff going on. They're glued to the TV. They're into all like, oh my God, they're going to come in our neighborhood, and that's what the Democrats know too. The Democrats are like the Muslims. They're using them for terrorizing, and they don't care about these people. The Democrats, they don't care about the black Americans in their communities that they're doing this to. They don't care about that girl got shot the other day. They don't really, Floyd was no, American hero. I mean, this guy was a worthless, no good scumbag criminal, what he did to that pregnant woman and what have you. But honestly, I got to say, I thought that cop and what they did was murder. I agree with it. It was murder, and I think it was but I don't think the resulting effects of what we see going on in society, the way the rioting, the looting, the upset, and the civil discourse that's going on is appropriate to what took place over that because it makes no sense. I don't know where a poverty-stricken black person thinks that because some black man got shot, they're entitled to new Nike sneakers. Or what do you think by looting and getting yourself Nike sneakers is going to do to stop black people from getting shot? I mean, just real. Where's the common sense in this? But I'm saying there isn't. What it is like the Muslims. What I was just showing you with the Muslims. Okay, the inhumanity. What's here? I'm going to show you again something. I got one that I want to show you. The doctor in Israel with this the lady in Israel who brings her son in, and her son is sick, and she's a Muslim, and she brings him to an Israel Jewish doctor to save her son. And he's gonna, he's talking to her. If I could find that, that would be a good one to give you a good example of what it is I'm talking about. If I could find it. Just give me a minute, because like I say, I kind of get an idea what I want to say and what I'm going to say. And, I got that. There's so much stuff I could show you. I'm looking for the one. Let's see. Here it is. I want you to just pay attention to this right here. This is just to give you an example, because remember, the Democrats and the Muslims are allied. And the practices of what they're doing socially and society-wise and how they're indoctrinating what they're doing to the people is similar.
فلسطين هاي
لا
نص نص
لا إلا القدس.
والله زي عرفات مليون شهداء للقدس.
أكثر.
As you can see, what we were just talking about, he mentions right here. He says, like Arafat said, million shihads for Jerusalem, right? Million. So that means like a million children come and kill themselves for the cause of Islam. You know, that's what Arafat said, and it's true. That's what he said, and she agrees. Watch,
أكثر من مليون.
more than a million. All of us for Jerusalem, right? Because these are the Palestinians that are told they own Jerusalem, which is a lie. It's just propagated just to get the Muslims to war.
تزعل صح؟
على ايش؟
عشان بحكي هيك.
لا انا حسب رايي شهداء ما شهداء هيك كلام فاضي.
لا
أنا
كلنا،
بقول-
أنا بحكي لك مش مليون، كلنا للقدس. شوف كلنا عادي إحنا بنموت عنا عيش طبيعي، ما نخافش منهم. يعني من أصغر واحد من البيبي اللي أصغر من محمد ده أكبر واحد فينا، كلنا.
You see what she said? Now, mind you, this is the things like I'm saying. This is the actual mindset in the Islamic nations. You see, most people don't understand in Islam you have an abrogated Quran and you have the true Quran. Which if you follow somebody like Sandra Solomon out of Canada, look that name up. Sandra I'll even try to see if I can find it for you, and we'll include those in the link. Let me see if I can find Sandra Solomon, because it's important Americans know who their enemies are. Finding Freedom, ex-Muslim Sandra Solomon on Voice for Europe, right? This is somebody you would want to look up. She has a story of her life when she was in Iran, or I think she was in Arabia. Yeah, she was in Arabia. It was Annie Cyrus who was in Iran. She was in Arabia, and she was raised as a Muslim, and she escaped it. And now she's a free woman in Canada, and she's an advocate against Islam, trying to warn Canada and Americans about the horror and the truth of what Islam wants to do to America. But nobody's listening to her. Nobody wants to listen to her. But I'll include a link to her thing in this so people can look that up. And then you also have like Annie Cyrus, who is another girl. She's a former Muslim out of Iran. Incredible story. And this woman sets a strong example of a woman and a survivor, like unbelievable. She has an incredible character. She's incredibly strong. The sad thing right now with her, and I see it because she's friends with me on Facebook. I watch her. I follow her. I've been following her for years. She's just an incredible person and a good person, and she loves America, and she's really loves this country. But right now, she's in a constant state of fear because what we're allowing, the Democrats are allowing, is pretty much opening her back up to the very thing she escaped from to come to America for. It's just that insane. And I know this seems like offbeat of what we're talking about, but it's not. And we're going to go back to finish here, just so you can understand. What we're being told about Islam by the talking head, worthless, no good, disgraceful, goddamn treasonous American newscasts that are just puppet readers who do what they do totally indiscriminate without a concern for any goddamn buddy out of their selfish own desires for that money, because they don't give a shit about nobody. You know what? To them, I'm going to tell you something. When the shit hits the fan, you're going to be the one who's going to have to watch your own children when it comes for them. Okay? And believe me, you would, like Genghis Khan said, God would not send a hell like him upon the earth had humanity not sinned so greatly. You people are the worst and the lowest scum of the sins of this freaking nation. And the very cause of all the affliction and what you do for your own selfish desire of what you want for your money, your fame, and your disgusting, inhumane, no good. You're the reason God made a hell. That's what you people are. You're the reason God had to create a hell. But anyway, let's finish listening to what this goes on here.
أصغر واحد من البيبي اللي أصغر من محمد ده أكبر واحد فينا، كلنا في القدس. لأن شايفينها حجمة. بس هتزعل أنت حر. ازعل. ما بقدرش يعني هذا عقيدة دينية بقدرش.
Now you see, like her, they tell you it's not a religion, right? Not all Muslims feel this way. It's not about the Islamic religion. This is a Muslim woman in the Islamic States, raised, indoctrinated from the time she's born under true Islam. And I want you to just pay attention to what she says right here, because this is what I'm saying. This is from the horse's mouth. This is not from some lying news person. Not my opinion. I'm giving you from the horse's mouth what a Muslim in a true Muslim state says. So understand. And this is what they learn. Okay? And it's not just her. I can show you a list and on and on and on. Hundreds of these Muslims from that country being on video or on news in their own countries saying the very same things. So this is not, just one incident of it. And as you can see right here, which I'm trying to show you, see it says it's a religious thing. You see that right at the bottom. Let me go back up and show you. I will get mad. Go ahead. It's a religious thing. You see, she's stating it for a fact. They do this for Islam because it's ingrained in them from Islam. And I'm telling you right now, the media, the Democrats, the politicians, the talking heads, the only reason right now these, like, the senators, the governors of these Democrats, and all these commissions of your county commission and people, and even the police and all are protecting them, because you know what? The money that's flowing into their campaigns from the Saudi Arabians and the Iranians. The Muslims are paying them off. They're selling us out. Our own elected officials within law enforcement and everything, the sheriffs and everything. You know, like I'm going to tell you right now, Hernando County has going on. You know, and another thing. Oh, I got to touch on here. Oh God, I didn't bring it up. I got to warn everybody. There's statistics. I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll just do another video on it. But I'm going to say something to you right now. Now I'm just going to wait till I do the video on it. It's about an infiltration going on of Islamic Muslims who are OBGYN in our country and what they're doing to the posterity youth of our young women. How they're literally, there's been a spike in the last 25 years, a large spike in the last 20 years, really high, of women under the age of 30 getting hysterectomies. And you know what? You can geographically, this has been a study, I'm going to do a video on this and I'm going to present the evidence to it that we have. You can geographically isolate the areas of where this spike of women 30 and under are getting these hysterectomies, having their innards removed out so they can no longer have children. And the amazing thing about it is that when you do the geographical locations of where these and I'll tell you what, when you look at 244 years of American and world history, never have you seen a thing like, because it's impossible. Looking at, and this is something, like I got a visit last week from the no good ditch ball, worthless goddamn scumbag FBI. Not they weren't really FBI, but the FBI is a bunch of no good scumbags if you ask me. You're all a bunch of goddamn treasonous, complicit fucking traitors, really. Every one of you, really, because you know what? You're worried about what Americans are doing when you should be worried about what I'm telling you right now. Why don't you do an investigation on the OBGYN of Muslim doctors in this country and the rate of hysterectomy on women under the 30 and under? And what they're doing right now and how they're butchering the young girls in this country to try and reduce the population growth in this nation. Why don't you look into that, you stupid, worthless, no good, treasonous scumbags? Really, you're out there harassing goddamn true Americans for being upset about what the hell you're failing on doing in this country out there. It's just disgraceful. And these kind of things are going on. The rate right now, like in areas where you have Muslim OBGYNs, the rate of American young women getting hysterectomies, if they go, that's it, they're going to get it. And then you got to watch because some of them are actually, they'll do things to cause the damage. Don't take your young daughters to any Muslim OBGYN, and I don't give a shit who's got something to say about me. Look, it's not a racist thing, because I'm going to tell you what, there is no race to Muslim. Muslim is a foreign totalitarian ideology, okay, of an ideology of totalitarianism that was founded 1,400 years ago. There is no race. They'll take any idiot that will join that ideology. Any idiot that falls into it, they'll take them. I mean, and when you look at the idiocy of it, like you just take a look at, like, I have a video on my YouTube you can watch on my channel called The Lies of the Nation of Islam. If you want to get a gist of just how, how false it is. In this video I don't really touch on the proof of how Islam is not really a religion. I'm going to do a video on that though. But let me just see if I can find where I'm at right here. We'll touch on this real quick so I can give you an example. I'll use my own video. It's right here. Educated Americans outside of it. This is a video I made that's waking up black Americans to the lies of Islam and the Democratic Party, Part 1, Islamic Lies with the Nation of Islam. My next video, Part 2 of this, is going to be how Islam is really a totalitarian socialist regime and nothing of any kind of real religion whatsoever. And what they do to the people, the Muslims, is just horrible. It's horrible. It's kind of online to what the Nazis were doing. It's just horrible. The people, the Muslims themselves, are to the Islamic leaders, the totalitarian actual governing regime that enslaves these people. They're just disposable assets. As you see what we're showing you right now, the mothers will literally strap bombs to their own kids and them themselves. They'll go out, they'll go blow themselves up and kill people. This is, it's a practice that's a commonplace. It's just commonplace with them. But the things which I want to touch on in here show you like how some things work in here. I just want to go up and we'll see, because this tells you a story. Like here, we'll touch on something like here, like the racial issues we got going on right now, and you got the Nation of Islam is involved in these things that are going on. Muslims are involved with right now the racial stir that's going on. But here's a good example of what is going. Like here, you got Muhammad Ali, right? Most of this generation might not be aware he was Cassius Clay. And what happened with Muhammad Ali, he was a world champion back in the 60s, okay? And he converted, one of the first major sports figures in this country to convert to Islam. It wasn't until 1934 under FDR, the Democrat FDR, that they allowed Muslims and Islam to come into this country by a man named Fard, who started the Nation of Islam. And they did this with the blacks because then they knew that the Democrats, they did it like on a religious basis, a First Amendment right kind of thing, to be able to get Muslims, because Muslims were banned from being allowed. They were declared by the first 4 administrations of the United States of America as the enemies of the United States and the American people. George Washington, as well too, after a while, James Madison, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson all considered them not only the enemies of America and the American people, but the enemies of all mankind. Really, that's a fact. Okay, because they're a total totalitarian, socialist, inhumane regime that has a pursuit for world domination, and they pursue their world domination by terroristic war and threat of death on everyone, forced conversion, and this is a fact too. But anyway, Muhammad Ali said he became a Muslim because he didn't want a slave name, and he wanted to take. Well, I think I got it right here. Well, so I want to. I'll just play it. Abolitionist out of Kentucky. So as I was saying, here I'll just let me tell you in my own video. By feeling like they can. I just want to real quick go back. Minded, so that's what they preyed on. Malcolm X was one of those men. But though I do think Malcolm X was a great man, I thought he was a very smart man. He learned a lot, and in the end, you're going to realize he was awakening to a lot of the truth I'm telling you right now. But their main focus of target would have been this man, Muhammad Ali, which was formerly known as Cassius Marcellus Clay. Muhammad Ali, I just want to real quick go back and just say, Muhammad Ali was a great world champion in his time, and he was not a very educated man. He was named Marcellus Cassius Clay after a great abolitionist out of Kentucky. Marcellus Cassius Clay, which is something I want to have up. Marcellus Cassius Clay. I want to have this so we can see this as we go forward. But that's just there. I want to go back here. We're going to go back and go here. So as we were saying now, I have a video here where he explains why he changed his name, and these things are very important to understand as we progress forward. And I'm trying to move as quick as possible, but also give as much information as possible, because, too long of a video, I'm going to lose your attention. Nobody's going to pay attention to it. So let's take a quick listen to what he says.
Which names to fit us black people in Cleveland, knowledge of myself. Most people don't claim to be called Clay anymore. No, Clay was not my name. Most people follow, believe, hear, understand the teachings of Muhammad and come into knowledge of ourselves that we want to be called after names of our people, which are names to fit us black people. And Clay was a white man's name, it was a slave name. And I'm no longer Clay, I'm no longer a slave, so now Muhammad Ali. Do you answer with Clay anymore?
So he changed his name because he says that Marcellus Cassius Clay, his name, was a slave name given to him by the white man, and he doesn't want the white man's slave name, is what he said, right? And that's very important that you remember this. So, and then as we go forward, we see here, this is something of a little bit of history maybe people don't know. My understanding as well with him became from a guy, Benny. This gets into a little bit of detail. You can watch the whole video. I'm going to skip ahead and let you know something though, right here. I just want to get, because this just gives you a little more detail about why he changed his name, how he became into Islam, and I get into the story of it a little bit, deeper here. And but I want to get to the point that I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make about with Muhammad Ali was, did I find Cassius Marcellus? I want to jump ahead here and just get to it so I can see you. Oh, well, anyway, my point here is I proved that Muhammad, most don't know this, Muhammad, the prophet, was a white man. As you can see on here, whoever, like in some of the things, the guy was, not only was he a white man, he was the founder of the black African slave trade. Muhammad, the prophet of Islam. Yeah, most people don't know this. In 640 AD was when the Muslims invaded North Africa. And upon them invading North Africa and finding the black African people, they were the ones who started enslaving the black African tribal people. The only ones they actually made friends with and converted were the tribal leaders, because they used them to help rile up the slaves so they could, corral them for selling off in the slave market. It was the black African slave trade was founded at 640 AD by the Islamic Muslims. That's near 1,200 years before the continent of America was even discovered. Just so you're aware, black slavery didn't start in America. It started with the Islamic Muslims near 1,200 years before America even existed. Just so anybody out there is black that is American that doesn't know that, wake the hell up. Okay, read a book, really. And it's sad I can't say that, because those within the Democratic-controlled ghettos have a higher literacy rate. Not that they're stupid, just because they're deprived in education. The Democrats keep them dumbed down. But anybody who does have the ability to read, anybody who does have a little bit of common sense about them, has fallen into this propaganda, you need to get real, wake the hell up, pull your head out of your arse, and read a book and read some history and get some truth in you. But the sad part is most of them won't anyway. They like the victim card. That's why the awoken American that is black or Mexican or whatever, immigrants or whatever, that are woken up and true Americans, and their value of the American system and the values, and they love the Constitution, and they love this country, they can't stand these victim playing no good people who are awake. And I'm not saying all of them. There's people that can read, there's people that are aware of this, and they just play on it, like Maxine Waters and them. Farrakhan, these people are sellouts to those people that just keep getting richer and richer, selling these people a dream that they're never going to deliver on. You know why? Because if they deliver on that dream, the money stops flowing. They're never going to give it to you. It's like the cure for cancer. If you think that they have a cure for cancer, but if you think they're going to give it to us, you're out of your freaking mind. The money they're making off cancer, they're not going to do it. Like, look at cigarettes. Like, the money they make off cigarettes, really, these people don't give a damn about us. It's all about them. And I'm telling you right now, we need to wake up and realize just how much of the majority is self-serving, no good, evil, selfish, despicable, inhumane freaking people in our government and this country, because they don't give a damn, really. It's just disgraceful what is going on, not just in America, but around the world. Because around the world, which we're going to soon be if we keep allowing this to happen, we're going to fall into being a total totalitarian regime. We're already banana republicans. We know that from the last election, right? So, but anyway, back to where we were. The reason with the Islam comes in, because like I said, the Democrats are allied with the Muslims, right? So the practices of what they're implementing right now, of what the Muslims are a big part of it. Like we remember with Obama, his community organization groups with the Nation of Islam and that among all the Democratic-controlled areas, you see, they're actually, in the Islam and Muslims under true, their own Muslims. They have them strapping bombs on their own kids, sending them off killing non-Muslims, right? So the thing of what, like I'm saying, you got to realize is that, that's the mentality of it. That's the mentality of it. When you look at the reality here, like I say, you got the Democrats right now pushing the agenda of racism, reparations again, violence by the police. This is the thing gets me too. When you look at the statistics in reality and of the crime rates here, and you realize, like in most of this red area, all the areas where you have all these police shootings, the majority of them, only a small, like 5-6%, are outside of Democratic areas. All the crime that's going on, all the crime, the murder, the drugs, the broken families, the lack of education, the violence, the abuse of government powers, the abuse by cops, is all happening within the blue you see on that map, Democratic districts. It's not happening in the rest of the country. So black Americans, Mexican Americans, Irish Americans, Chinese Americans, all living out there in the red, they're not being affected like you see in the blue. Only the blue. And the blue is a minority area. But here's the problem. Here's the problem you got. The Democratic representation within these areas are preying on this and inciting it because of the money too. And the Republicans are guilty of this too. The more fear they incite with this, like Black Lives Matter, look at the money that flew into this woman. Was like, she's not, you talk about like, she's making Farrakhan, who made millions off of baiting race things, for years, right? She's making him and she's even making Maxine Waters look like small fries. This girl done built up like hundreds of millions of dollars off of selling racism in a matter of a couple years. She's like $100 millionaire buying herself a mansion in a white neighborhood. I get that, right? All the black people sending this woman money from who founded Black Lives Matter like crazy. I don't know if you heard this. And she just went and bought a big mansion in a white neighborhood, right? Yeah, this is the reality of the Twilight Zone we're in right now. And it's not really funny. It's disgraceful. But like I say, the main thing I want to talk about here is looking at these statistics. How many, like, when you see it and you realize you do the numbers here, between, like, we'll just stick with the Hispanic and white for Caucasian. We have 70 killed this year and 30 blacks. So as you can see, like, there's more, twice as many. This is the thing I'm trying to show you. Twice as many by the actual statistics of a file right here, that's verified by the FBI, right? But here's the thing. When we go forward and we look at, where did it go? Right here. No, it's not that. Did I lose it? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, here's it. Now I want to show you. This is the twist. To show you how you can't trust the media, how you can't trust this government, how you can't trust what you're hearing and what you're seeing that's inciting all these things. And then this right here is the exposed that shows. But no reporter's going to talk on this. Because, you know what? They're not paid to tell the truth anymore. There's no integrity anymore in reporting. There's no real reporters anyway. They're nothing but no good, worthless. Like they got a political science degree, associate's degree, and they're good script readers. That's all they are, really. They're just educated idiots that sit there and read the script. That's all they are. There's no professionalism. And they're selfish, no good. They're ditch the dits. They don't give a damn about nobody. They come in, they do their job, they get their pay, they go home. They don't care about what the effects of what they said. If it's true or not, they don't really care. There's no integrity whatsoever in them. These people are disgraceful Americans, treasonous sellouts to this country, who are actually the cause of it all. But here, look at this. Black Americans are killed at a much higher rate than white Americans. This is what this says, right? Although half of the people shot and killed by the police are white, black Americans are shot at a disproportionate rate. They account for less than 13% of the U.S. population, but are killed by police at more than twice the rate of white Americans, is what it says, right? Just pay attention to how they twist these words. This article was written by a true 100% out racist that wanted to make it look like black people are a target. And it's lies. The whole thing's lies because, like I say, the facts make it clear. This whole thing's a lie. And they even present the facts to you, but the chart is distorting it. Watch this. Population, but are killed by the police more than twice the rate of white Americans. Hispanic Americans are also killed by police at disproportionate rates. Right now, you look down here at the chart, and you see black, Hispanic, white, and other, right? It almost looks like black is the top percentage. You see that? It looks like 36 per million. Hispanics, 27 per million. Whites, 15 per million. Others, 5 per million, right? But this is not true. When you do this on a population basis, right, and this is manipulated numbers right here. This is so manipulated of numbers, it's disgraceful. One, look at like blacks, 42 million, right, Hispanics, 39 million, and whites, 197 million. So they're showing you the population, okay? They're showing you population. And whites, of course, are proportionately higher than any minorities in this country because the majority of the United States is white people. It's just the majority of people in the world are white people. The only place you really find black people, like, or brown even people, is in the subtropic areas. And it's nothing to do that they're a different race of people. It's just environmental adaptation. That's all it really is. But I'm just saying, here in America, you got 42 million blacks, you got 197 million whites. Big difference in population. But they try to make by this chart and the writing, by the writing right here, it's all manipulative. It's all lies. It's most victims are a young male. Okay, now the statistics here, when they no longer go by color, and the highest rates of it between 30 and 34 are the white males. Okay, not black males. If you look at statistics right here, like when you come back to the actual thing here, and you look and you realize, whoa, because like look year to year. Blue, understand, blue is 2017, dark blue right here is 2018, gray is 2019, red's 2020, and green is 2021 this year. So let's just take a look at the red, right, last year. Last year was 457 white Americans shot and killed by the police. Last year, 241 black Americans were shot and killed by the police. So, proportionately, twice as many whites in reality were killed than blacks by the police last year. But, you know, and then too, this is every year. Every year. There's not a year on here. Right here, the first column is white. You see it, right? The first column is white. Then the next column is you know, you got black right here. That, you know, I don't know if you're seeing how this. I'm hoping you can see this. I got it. I think as best I can do it. I could zoom in. I guess I could try and do that. Yeah, here we go. Zoom in and move down on it so you can get. There we go. Nice clear picture, right? And then I can do the statistics. You can see it. But see, white right here, right? You got the arrow. See white right here? It says white. And then here it says black, and then right there it says Hispanic, and then other and unknown, right? So if you look in here, you can see that the white is the highest level right here. Every year in the last 5 years, whites have been killed at more than double the rate of blacks Americans. But yet, we have rioting, the news is telling us, everything's reporting, and it's reporting with lies. It's reporting with lies that are just made up to unproportionate place like this thing here. White, like here, it's just crazy. Black Americans are killed at a much higher rate than white Americans. This is a blatant lie. And the thing that gets me is like, if people read the headline and they read the first paragraph and they just look at the chart, that they assume that they're being told the truth. Because they say this is a psychological play. If you read psychology books, right? 3 things like sales books and such like that, they have tactics and methods where they use what's called subliminals within these things to get a person, and they know. It's called a 3-part verification. If a person's reading an article like this, they see the heading, they read the first paragraph, they see the picture imaging of the chart, that's as far as they'll go. That's all they need to draw the conclusion that this is what it says in that paragraph and that heading are the truth. Because you got the heading saying it, you get the first paragraph said it, and the chart appears to verify it. But if you look at the chart itself, they give you the truth. You see right here, blacks 36 per million, but look, 1,504 killed total. Whites, 2,884 killed. You see, but yet the article is saying twice as many whites or blacks are killed than whites. But here you're saying twice as many whites. If you look at the numbers, you'll get it. You'll get it. And then when you come back and you look at the actual statistics, it's undeniable that twice as many whites are killed every year by the police with handguns than blacks. It's a fact. It's a fact. And the true fact of the matter is, though, believe it or not, not even on a proportionate basis, with so many more, do you know more blacks commit crimes than whites? Now, look at that, consider that on this population basis. 197 million white people, only 42 million black people, but yet black people commit more crimes than all 197 million white people within their small population. So that means that when you're looking at this, less than 42 million white people are criminals out of the 197 million. Because proportionately by population, blacks commit more crimes than whites. Think about that, right? Think about that. But it's not really a black or white issue. This is the thing, too. When you think of this, like I talk to people and they're like, oh my God, you ever see that? You realize that the black, and then people say, you know, it's a black thing. It's not. It's an ideology thing. It's a literally manufactured thing. All of that happens, like, and I'm trying to get people to understand, all of that happens within what you see in this bottom map, the Democratic districts, or that top map in the blue areas. All that we're talking about happens in these blue areas. That's it. Not the whole country. Just those blue areas that are the Democratic-controlled districts and counties. That's the only place. Like California is one of the biggest. You get like New York. You see where all the Democratic heavy areas are. And even like in Florida, the Miami district is Democrat. That down there, the Broward County, Dade County area is all Democrat. Southern areas in Texas is the Democrat. You see the blue? These are where all of these violent crimes, all of these poverty-stricken areas, all of this gun violence, all of the drugs, all of the lack of economic, the failing education system, all of the police shootings, It's all within the Democratic zones. And the other sad thing I'm telling you right now, and I don't know. That's why I say this video, we need to share the video. I make my videos on YouTube. I make my videos on here. I'm not a whiz kid on getting this information out. And believe me, I'm not doing it because I want to be popular. I'm not. And I'll straight up even tell you, I get a lot of bad calls from people. I don't hide who I am. I'm not afraid. I'm not worried about it. But you know what? I'm not a very liked person by a lot of people for what I do. Because, you know, there's most people who personally know me, like me because that I like and I get along with, like me because I tell the truth. And most people who don't like me and hate me, and I guess some say it's out of an envious, bitter, because, you know, the people who don't like me and hate me, don't like me and hate me for the same reason because I tell the truth. And then I've had people that I've met that I've been told by others they don't like you, and I'm the kind of guy I'll confront you. I'll be like, hey, I hear, you know, such says you're talking to me, saying I'm a piece of whatever, and, you know, you don't like me. And they'll be like, oh, you know, you think you know everything. Look, let me tell you something. I can't help that I cared enough about my country, and I cared enough about defining myself to be who I am as an American, that I actually gave up a lot of my time in my spare time where I find myself doing nothing rather than sitting around with my pud in my hand doing nothing. I devote that time to try and make myself educated, wise, and aware of my nation, my nation's history, my responsibilities as an American, and that of my trade of what I do for life in my pursuit of happiness. Okay? Yeah, I keep life real, man. I keep it real. I try to do what I do, and I care only about the truth. Okay? And it's not that I know everything. It's just I took the time to research things, and because I care about the truth. And believe me, I don't know everything because I want to get on here and seem like a know-it-all. I didn't do it for anybody. I assumed, honestly, I was the dummy because I didn't even start going to school till I was freaking near 13 years old. So I assumed all of you people who went to school your whole life probably knew more than me, but I find out, no, you don't care. You don't care, but you got the right to judge me? Condemn me, call me a Mr. Know-It-All. Your idiot ass went to school for 12 years. I went to school for 5 years. That's it. I started like really going to school in like the 6th grade, and I only did 5 years because I did 11th and 12th the same year, and I graduated early, so 5 years. You went to school 12 years, and you're bitching because I know more than you. Really. I'm sorry. You know, that's why even afterward, if you want to shake my hand and be my friend, I wouldn't want to be friends with an idiot like you. Really. It's not that you're an idiot, stupid-wise. You're just a really very ungrateful person who has no common sense, and you'd be a waste of my time. Really, I think you'd be a waste of anybody. You're a waste of your own freaking time. But anyway, you know, this is what I'm trying to say, and I'm hoping everybody gets this. If you look, like I'm saying, share this, and if you live like me. If I, you know, and I try to do this, and I know there's some good people online that are trying to do this, like, you know, some things are blessings, you know, I see some of the things in people, like, I met a guy, Gub, he's a friend of mine at Georgia, online here, and he's, like, watching him progress and growth and things that he's done, and he's a guy that tries to do the right thing. You got people like Candace Owens trying to do the right thing. You got Terrence Williams, the comedian, he's trying to do the right thing. Ben Carson's trying to do the right thing. You got little Marguerite, you know, that Marguerite Green, she's trying to do the right thing. So many people trying to do the right thing, and that's what it's about. But, like, one of the right things we could do is if these people, because they're reachable. I come from that ghetto. I grew up there, and I know that, you know, and the same thing even like with the Muslims. Understand, I don't think the people, are bad people. It's not that they're bad people. They're indoctrinated, just like the black people in these democratic-controlled societies that they're manufacturing. The people there is not because they're black; it's because what they're exposed to there. The Democrats, they have no education, no economy, no jobs. They have nothing but poverty, homelessness, drugs, crime, violence, broken homes, and the Democrats do this because let me tell you, like one of the gripes I can remember, like. When I was more involved in things back in the day, you know, I used to hear politicians, Republicans and independents complain about that where, like, in government, elected people, you know, they'd be like, oh, those Democrats, you know, they don't have to do anything. And they don't do nothing. The only thing they do is manufacture these problems, create a state of emergency so that this is what they're good at. They know how to file that paper for state of emergency money funds from the federal government. And here's the thing, like in that whole red area here, you see, And I'll tell you why that red area is the way it is. Because in that red areas, all of that in the country there, the Republican and independent areas of true Americans that are working class, they work, own businesses, they're not going to have it. And when they elect the people, even though they don't do anything, if there's an issue, those people will make noise, and they'll make them do something. Okay, so understand too, like I say, the effects of these things are a minority issue happening only in these blue areas, and maybe skirting the areas just outside of it, of what you see in the Republican areas. But as you see, like right now, there's a big migration going on. When you look up, like right here, I'll use the arrow so you can see it. You look up right in this area here, if you see my little arrow, a lot of migration coming from here to Florida, and that's like these red areas you see in Jersey, South Jersey, Pennsylvania. The Republicans there are fleeing to like Florida, or they're fleeing out to like Tennessee, because they don't want to deal with the Democrats. And we're hoping that's what's happening in Florida, because we don't want none of you goddamn Democrats coming into Florida either. We got enough down in Miami and Orlando area, which are ruining this country, our state. And believe me, and that's what I'm saying too. But the thing of it is, I don't really believe, like you take for instance Baltimore, right? You had Kim Klacik ran in the last election for Baltimore. Now I'm going to tell you what, I was involved with a couple people out of Baltimore online, in private chat all the time about, I really supported her. I would have loved to see her take over Baltimore. She's a really strong conservative American woman that I could tell by the way she talks and, her view on life and her background. Man, she gets it. She would have been able to, somebody that would have flipped Baltimore right around and done the right thing there. And the thing, she campaigned big. Her competitor didn't campaign at all. Never even showed up in a public, I don't think he even did a public debate once. But he won by a landslide and she lost by a landslide. Now the thing of it is I can tell you this, all the way up to the election. You think about like when she did her campaign walk through Baltimore, how many people came out and walked with her? She had the majority of support in Baltimore. There's no goddamn way that woman lost. I don't believe that Kim Klacik lost Baltimore. I just don't believe it. And the other reason I don't believe it too, because I'm going to tell you what, and they won't come out and say nothing, because you know what? Here's the word in Baltimore. It's so criminal, corrupt, like you wouldn't believe. And the people know who they voted for. They voted for Kim, but they're not going to say nothing. Because the Democrats are, just like they're allied with the Muslims, they're allied with the drug dealers and the gangs, and anybody who wants to come down and make a ruckus, you're going to regret it if you live in Baltimore. They'll have the gangs come, they'll rack your house up, they'll bust your car up, and if they catch you on the streets, you may get killed. Okay, and that's how bad it is. And the Democrats are on board with this. And, people might find this, oh my God, can you believe he's saying that? Let me tell you something, they've been doing it all their life. This is what the Democrats have been nothing but a terrorist organization in this country since this country was founded. And that's a fact. If you watch my history videos, you can see it's a fact. And if you want to get a good idea of just how terroristic they are, look at what they did under Woodrow Wilson from 1915 to 1920. Okay? And understand, look at the organizations related to the Democratic Party. The Ku Klux Klan, the Red Jackets, the Knights Labor Union. Okay? I mean, come on. These people have been terrorists their whole, and that's all they do. That's why they're allied with the Muslims. The ideology of the Democratic Party and the Islamic totalitarian states are pretty much the same. And to mind you, too, this is not a new alliance between the Democrats and the Muslims. Back when this nation was first founded, the majority of the slaveholders in this nation were the Tory. And that's the Democrats. It was the Tory who founded the Democratic Party in 1828. They were the majority of slaveholders. And where did they get all those slaves? From the biggest black African slave trader nation in the world, the Islamic Muslims, who have been trading the African slaves since 640 AD, like I said. They're the founders of it. And they've been allies the whole time. Now the Democrats, do you have what's called Dinos? Like you have Rhinos, what's a Republican in name only, but there's a difference between a Rhino and a Dino. A Dino's a Democrat in name only, a Rhino's a Republican in name only. A Rhino, though, is somebody who knows they're a Democrat. And they're just like you get somebody like Hanoi Jane, or not even a kid, that's not because she's never been a Republican, she's just a treating a scumbag traitor. But you get somebody that's like John McCain. There you go. There's a perfect example. John McCain claimed to be a Republican, but was truly a Democrat. Another good example of a Rhino is George Bush Sr. or Jr. or Jeb Bush. 3 Rhinos right there. They claim to be Republicans. They're really Democrats. They're suck-up Democrats, disgraceful, evil, no good, lying, despicable, inhumane people, that kind of people God made hell for. Really, that's where they're going. And they deserve to go there. All of the Bushes. They're just disgraceful people. And that's a fact. I mean, if I could tell you some stories about some things of evidence of fact that show just how the selfish-serving these freaking disgraceful, no-good people are. But I'm saying that's a rhino. That's a guy who claims to be a Republican, but he knows he's really a Democrat and he supports the Democrats. And like I say, you can see this because you got the Bushes right now sucking up with the Clintons and the Democrats, right? They don't care anymore. There's nothing in it no more for them to hide it. So they're out. They're out of the closet right now with what they really are. But Adino now, a Democrat name only, doesn't have a political agenda. They really don't have a political agenda. They're not doing it like the rhinos. The rhinos are doing it to infiltrate the Republican Party in a sense so that they can give an opposition on the other side. Like John McCain or Bush, they speak for the Republican side to make it look like Republicans or some Republicans are in agreement. Like we've seen with Trump, there's a lot of rhinos came out. I don't know if you're familiar with these terms, but what they mean. And that would be the rhinos who, when Republicans recognize a rhino, that means we know that that's not really a Republican, it's a Democrat. Playing a Republican, trying to act like so that when the news could be like, well, today 50 Republicans were against this, but 3 Republicans, they were in support of it. Those 3 Republicans would be the 3 rhinos, okay? And that's the only reason they're there, to try and make it look like not all Republicans are against the Democratic Party, but any true American Republican would be against the Democratic Party. And there's no doubt. And any Republican that's not is a rhino. That's just the way it would be. But now Adino is a Democrat name only, and that's just a naive, gullible, unaware, floating out there in friggin' Twilight Zone person that has bought the propaganda that the Democrats are all for the minorities and that's the good party for the immigrants and they're the go-forward party for equality and all, and that's these people who are Dino's Democrats are lazy, undeserving, uncaring, self-serving, no good, worthless Americans, because you know what? I don't understand how any true American could be a Democrat, but yet you don't take the time to actually look into the truth of the party you're associated with. Because the Democrats are the party of slavery. They're the party of the Jim Crow laws. They're the party of the Ku Klux Klan, the Red Jackets. They're the parties of lying and twisting history, inciting nothing but violence in this country. They're the party all the way up until, like we've seen with Robert Byrd in 2010, being celebrated by them, and he was the longest-standing Democratic Party member of the Ku Klux Klan. Cut me a friggin' break, really. And when you look at what they're doing right now in this country, and the complicity they have with the long-known and established totalitarian regimes who have been the long and established declared enemies of the United States and the American people. They are literally the whole entire party in association with the Islamic Muslims and what they're doing right now and with the totalitarian socialist states that they're collaborating with, including Biden and his administration right now with China. In the front they're trying to put like as if they have a standoff with China when they know for a fact China will bitch slap Biden. He's in their pocket like crazy. China's got videos on him and his son like you wouldn't believe because they're both freaking probably pedophile, rapist, murdering scumbags, okay, that have been complicit in all this perversion going on. And everybody knows it, but nobody wants to talk about it, but it's a fact. And I can tell you right now, the majority of Dinos I run into right now, they don't even want to admit they're a Democrat because they realize, oh my God, I've heard it. Oh my God, what a mistake I made. Oh my God, I don't know how I couldn't see this coming. Oh my God, you freaking idiots. You know why? Because let me tell you something. If you don't know the history of this country, you don't understand the politicals of what's going on, don't freaking vote. Tear up your voter registration card, because if you don't find this nation worth actually doing the goddamn due diligence to look into the history and know your place as a goddamn American, don't vote. That's simple. And right now it really doesn't matter anyway, because I think we realized in the last election, it doesn't matter if you vote or not. It doesn't. They're going to do what they're going to do. We're a banana republic. And until we fix that, it doesn't really matter. Like me this year, I'm even debating, like, should I even bother? Really, what's the freaking use? Really, should anybody bother? It doesn't matter. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see, and I'm going to leave off on this. This is my long rant for today about the things I want to touch base on with. I hope some people got some knowledge from this. I'll include links to things I have here. But one thing I want to leave off with that I'm concerned about right now. We're going to be having the governor's election come up soon for Florida here. And I'll tell you why I'm really concerned. Because the nut job, worthless, deranged, perverted, sick son of a... I'm going to watch the language. The worthless, degrading, inhumane guy that ran against him last time, it was a close race. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way it could have been a close race. No way. I supported Ron DeSantis. I campaigned for Ron DeSantis, and I knew them everywhere I went in Florida, of which I drove from where I'm at to Miami and all the way up to freaking the boot. Okay, all the way up, and talking to people back and forth, going from here to Georgia and whatever. And I'll tell you, everybody was voting for Ron DeSantis. Even the majority of Democrats who were Dinos were voting for Ron DeSantis because they didn't like the Fruit Loops of the guy who he was running against. Okay, and this guy nearly won. But I'm going to tell you what, they got the system corrupt, and they got it somehow through the electronics. We need to go back to paper hand counting ballots. I understand technology is a wonderful thing. We were doing fine with the hand counting. I don't know why we had to stop. I understand the advancements of technology. But when you reckon, and this is the other thing too I'm going to say, as far as the Republicans, here's what I want to know. I don't hear a goddamn thing from Republicans about them doing anything right now. And I want to know, being what happened in the last election, I was expecting by now that there would be all kind of forward legislation to put in safeguards and protective things to make sure that integrity in our voting was going to be held by the next election. Nothing. They're doing shit. They're not doing shit. And why is that? Why is that? These people, we pay them $174,000 a year. I'm sick of Ted Cruz's talking freaking head. I'm sick of Marco Rubio's talking head. I'm sick of Scott's talking head. I'm sick of all these so-called popular Republicans out there acting like tough men with their mouth and their little bobbing heads telling everybody what they want to hear, and then your ass goes home and you don't do nothing for weeks on end. I don't hear nothing from you unless you're forced to go in there, like little Margaret Green calls for a vote, then you're worthless, lazy... I'm just saying, you people got a job and you're not even doing it, and you're just as much the problem, you Republicans, by sitting and doing nothing. Ted Cruz, you act like you're such a constitutional Republican, and you're all this and that. Where's the legislation to make sure for voter integrity? What are you doing about creating a bill that ensures some kind of security system that we know the elections are going to be sound with integrity? What are you Republicans doing besides sitting on your freaking, and absolutely nothing as time is fading away, and you're allowing the opposition to go ahead and position again for another snatch? And and then just out to Ron DeSantis, and I know you've been really busy, and you're doing a lot of good things. And I think some of the things you did, of which I've looked into, I just don't know how enforced they are. That's what I'm looking into right now, like your enforcement about cursive writing, mandated, civics for graduation. These are principles and values we need to get back to. And I applaud you for those things. Great work on those things. But how enforced are they? That we can be sure that, God forbid, the election gets stolen and you get thrown out of here, that somebody can't undo these things. I think we need to have some kind of mandated structure that becomes like a law of the state for certain mandates in education, like math, English, history, civics, okay, and possibly testing about the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and founding principles for graduates in high school. And you know what, I hate to say this, though I didn't attend school, I was kind of a nerdy kid, and I really don't spell good, but I had a great memory of like pictorially with words, and I used to enter the library spelling bees and stuff like that. I used to have like a math contest. I used to enter them as a kid. Most people didn't know that. Only very few in my family knew that, the ones that knew I was a nerd. But I would go and do like the libraries, they would have these contests that would go on between different people, and you could just pay like a $2 fee and register, and then you go, and I won quite, I never showed nobody because it was like not cool to be smart, but I won quite a lot of little, the math contest around like Elizabeth, Hillside, Irvington, when they had them in the library, things going on where it wasn't even like in school, it was just like a district competition thing that you could get into, and I did pretty good, I did good. But those things are important. We need to bring that back. I understand you want all these freaking loser people want to have, and the Democrats about, well, we don't want to have no trophies and there be no winners. Look, stick that stuff, okay? Competition is good. Competition is good. Okay, let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a loser to somebody who finishes the task, okay? If you have a race, okay, and you have 10 people in the race, the only loser is the one who doesn't finish. Even last place takes a place, takes a position. You understand? So, and everybody takes a place that finishes, and that's what it's all about. Okay? First place deserves it because obviously they're the strongest, the fastest, and the most determined, and put in the most work to be fit enough to be able to take first place. They earned it. Okay? Last place earned that last position. Okay? Earned it. The quitter is the loser. The one who never even finishes the race. That's the only loser. Okay? The one who drops out and doesn't finish, that's the only loser. Every position has a place. And those places rank out. And you know what? If you have a person, like, if you look at the progressions in the past, like me, you know, I look at things like people who maybe in the first start, they take last place. I can remember me on some of the things, like I got booted out before I even got a position. And I was like, oh my God, I was devastated, you know. I thought I was going to do good and it didn't work out. But then I would prepare better. And I would put in more time better. And I would look into more how it's done. And I would learn. And then the next time, boom, you know, I might have finished 5th. And then boom, I finished 3rd. And boom, I hit a couple first place. And I was like, yeah, you see, so it's like a workout. You get stronger as you give more. And that's why you need competition. Because last place doesn't mean you're the worst. It just means you haven't put in the time yet. You haven't put in the effort yet. You haven't actually earned that first place position yet. And if you really want it, you'll put in the time. And you know what? You'll earn it. And then that's when you really deserve it. Okay? And that's what this country was founded about. That kind of competition. Because we strive to be a better people. We strive to be a stronger people. We strive to be a more moral and upright people by God. Because let me tell you something too. We're proud to be American. I'm proud to be an American. And I'm not saying that braggadociously in the sense of my own ego. Understand why I'm proud. I'm proud on the principles and the foundations of what our founders were proud on. I'm proud of what, like George Washington said to the churches of our nation, to the religious leaders of our nation. That we're not proud people in the sense of our own ego. We are proud people in the sense of that we know that we are so striving to be upright with God that God blesses us so greatly to be America and who we are. That's where our pride lies. Our pride is not a selfish pride in who we are. It's in the actions of what we example that we are so righteous before God that He so greatly blessed us. America is the greatest nation to ever rise on the earth in all human history. I know, I've studied it. There's never been such a great nation as America, our great people. And it's not a great people of America are not just white people. There were great black people, Chinese people, Mexican people, Spanish people, and all people in the Revolutionary War fought. Because in America, everybody was from somewhere else. There was a lot of people came. And a lot of people unified in the 13 colony areas. From France, from Germany, Spain, Africa. You know, most people don't even realize that there was many, like I say too, this is like I say, the ignorance people don't understand. If you were to ask people when was slavery abolished, they'll tell you 1865 at the conclusion of the Civil War. No, 1777. Look it up. First state to abolish slavery was Vermont in 1777. There was a progression. That's how we got to the divided point by 1861 when the Civil War broke out. There was like 15 free states, 13 slave states. You know, those free states were developing over the whole course of that time. Slavery was being abolished. In all new territories, slavery wasn't allowed. You see, the true Americans had nothing to do with slavery. Slavery all was involved with the British, who brought them here, and the Tories who wanted to maintain slavery and keep it, who eventually became the Democrats. People, learn your damn history. It's important. And black America, and you know, I mean, like, it's hard, but like I say, I can't really be mad at the black Americans in all these ghettos that are acting like this. I can't be mad. Because you know what? It's not that because they're black. It's because the Democrats manufacture society where they live to be the way it is. Look, like I say, if you look at the majority of Muslims, I'm showing you in the videos that we were looking over here, they're white. You see? They're white, but they're just as demented. And they're just inhumane. And it's not that they're bad. Like this poor woman right here. Understand, from the time she was born, she was indoctrinated to believe these things. Islam is a totalitarian socialist regime, okay, that indoctrinates and enslaves its people. Okay, you know, totalitarians, they control every aspect of these people's lives. As you can see her, they control the way she'll dress, what she can eat, how she'll marry, when she'll have kids, what she'll do for a living, what she can read, what she can't read, when she will pray every day, and when she will live and die, or when she will have her own kids live and die. They control every aspect. These people are slaves to a totalitarian Islamic leaders that control these Islamic states. And those people themselves, they know. I'm going to do another video because I debate a lot in the Islamic chat rooms online around the world, and I have a big following. And it's sad in a sense because I've realized some of the debates that I've had in these forums, which I've got witnesses to this that have followed me, they'll literally, once I start getting people from around the world and I get a big following in a room, and all of a sudden Muslims are starting to leave Islam because they're like, oh my God, this guy's telling us the truth, and they're waking up, boom, they'll shut the whole room down and erase everything, and then they'll reopen the room, and then I got to start all over again. So I'm going to do a video on the things I debate in these forums so that we can get to the facts of some things we have to consider as American. Because when you realize the truth of the totalitarianism of Islam and what we're allowing to happen not only in America but around the world with the affliction of death and terrorism and harm on people and humanity, to include the very Muslim population itself of the people enslaved by these people, something needs to be done. And it's a God thing too, because I believe in God, okay? But, there's a way of knowing God. God is self-evident. The rules and laws as God sets in the laws of nature are self-evident. And, religions are man's way of thinking how they want to be and thinking that's how God by these laws would want them to be. But some become self-evident when you realize that men are just trying to play God or use a fake God in a way to control and enslave people. And there's a lot of that going on in the world, and we see this throughout human history. We've seen it because some of them even try to self-endow themselves as God. We've seen this with the Babylonians claiming themselves to be God, or like you had the pharaohs of Egypt, the demigods claiming to be half man, half God, or you had the emperors of China and Japan claiming to be, human gods and whatever. And, these things are just insane, and they're afflictions on humanity that really, by this point in evolution of where we are in intelligence, we shouldn't be having in this world at this time. It's just horrible to see the loss of life that we're seeing, especially when you see the things like I'm showing you here. When you look at the affliction it's having on the children, it's just horrible. It's just so inhumane. It's horrible. It really is. It's horrible. And I'm just going to leave off with that, and I guess that's my venting for the day. If you found it educational, great. Like I say, share this, talk about it, look up the statistic yourself. When you go out in public, make people aware of it. Tell them about this video. Challenge them to go and do the stats. You see a Democrat tell them, go look at this guy's thing and prove him wrong. And let's go online and we'll make him look like a fool. Do that, because then that's what I do. Challenge them. Challenge them, because make them go do the homework, and then when they look in, I get a lot of them, they come back and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm even a Democrat. Because you know what? They don't know. They're dinos. They really don't know. So, that's about all I got to say. Thank you all for watching my video. If you watched it to this point, you want to comment below. I try to follow the comments best I can for what I see. I don't see any, or maybe I do. 100%, 100 times Trump threw us to the wolves. Yeah, I hear you. Republicans are just as bad, and there are so few that are good. Yeah, I hear. I see. I got one in there. I get it. She's right where I'm at. She knows what I'm talking about. I'm very upset with Donald Trump and the whole Republican administration. It's just disgraceful. But thank God we have some like Marjorie Greene and we have Ron DeSantis. There are some good people out there who are trying. To do the right thing, and there's, more I can mention. There are good people. I don't want to say all. There's a minority of very good Americans in our government. The problem that is becoming relevant in the banana republic is that, obviously we're a banana republic, and the good minority of good, true Americans in our government are slowly being dwindled down and eroded away and blocked from, like you look at Kim Klacik. She would have been a great addition to the conservative true principles of Americanism in this country. They blocked her from ever having a position, no chance in Baltimore, because she would have flipped Baltimore and turned Baltimore into a prospering city, which would have set off an example and probably woke up the black communities under Democratic control across this country. They would have all been voting Democrat, because I know Kim Klacik could have done it. That girl was inspired to do it. She had the energy to do it. She had the mindset to do it, and she had the ideas to do it. That was why I backed her. If anybody listened to that woman, she had the ideas on how to do it. And when you listen to her idea and her approach to what she was going to do, damn it, it would have worked. It would have worked, because it's what needs to be done. And I still to this day, I say, that election got stolen. You know, but Kim Klacik, she ain't walking away. She's still fighting. And I'm sorry, you know, with Donald Trump, until I hear something or I find or discover, because you know what? I'm not finding anything anywhere. I'm hearing a lot of things from a lot of people who are in La La Land still supporting him. And like I say, I'm not going to take away. The guy's a great American. He was a great entrepreneur, a great businessman. I admired him his whole life. But as a president, he failed. He is no Abraham Lincoln. He is definitely no Abraham Lincoln. Because you know what? Abraham Lincoln did not fail. Donald Trump failed. Donald Trump had everything he needed to succeed in what the goal was that he took the position as president for, and all he did was waste 4 years of our time. Because, you know, he did a lot of great things, but what Donald Trump did is still standing right now. Democrats are undoing it all day by day. And everything's resorting right back to the way it was. Like I say, it wasn't even a matter of now what? We're in April, January, February, March, April. We're into the 4th month, getting ready to go into the 5th month of May, right? And already we got 12 Muslims, 12 Americans killed by Muslims on our own home ground again that we know of. And I'm telling you right now, there's another, no joke, 11 Muslims I know of that are being classified as unknown Caucasians or race. And it was Muslim murdering Americans. They're just trying to hide it. Okay? And as well to the butchering that's going on across. And Donald Trump was aware of the pedophilia, involvement with this government, the human trafficking, the drugs, and everything. And I'm going to tell you something right now, Donald Trump. I know for a fact what I know from my own goddamn life experience of what I see with my own eyes. I know what you know. I know probably, I don't think I know more than you, probably know more than me. But I know what I seen. If I was in your position, no goddamn way. I wouldn't give a shit what they threatened me with. I would have went through with it. I would have went through with it and made sure this country was fixed. No way. No way, because you know what? Just because you're rich and you got the ability to walk away and whatever, you know how many millions more are being affected right now because you did not follow through. You should have never, ever took the job from day one if you were not really willing to take it to the line like it should have been taken. Because when it came down to the line, your ass cowered down and you walked away. And I'm angry about that. I'm angry about that. And I don't know why. I don't understand why, because I believed in you. I thought you had it. I really believed you had it in you. At your age, I figured, you know, because I'm thinking myself, at your age, I would have thought for your grandchildren, for your own children, of which by what you did, if you don't get the chance. I don't know. Maybe because I'm being told by so many people that, you know, you got to, and it's hard. It's hard because I believed in you. And, you know, but the thing I'm going to tell you, Donald Trump, that you need to realize, and I'm going to tell you what, every one of you, you know, with all these people involved with you, you know, that's all you're out there running these campaigns looking for the money on the fear plays and whatever. Let me tell you something. You all got kids. You all got grandkids. And what you allow now is in the progression of what's going on right now, believe me, I know world history, it's not going to get no better. And if you don't really do something, if something real does not happen soon, we're going to hit a tipping point and where the domino effect is going to be unstoppable. And this nation's going to fall. It's going to fall, or we're going to go into an awful, ugly, dark age of war like unimaginable. And it's unavoidable. It's coming. World history, the facts of history, because let me tell you something. God only backs actions. You can have all the faith you want, and that's another thing I'm going to tell you right now. I understand there's a lot of great Christian people out there that love God, but you're all freaking cowards. I'm going to tell you right now, God backs action. You can't expect God to save you from your own inability to want to save your goddamn self. You can't expect God to defend a nation that's not even willing to put itself at risk to defend itself. Okay? You have faith in God. You need to demonstrate that faith by actions. Okay? Because if not, as history has shown, God can't save a person not willing to save themselves. And he can't save a nation not willing to fight for itself and take a position of power and authority over itself. If you allow something to take you over, you make yourself the prey. That's it. It's like, I can guarantee you, the cause and the effect of the establishment, the natural course of fightus of it, when you have a deer and a lion's chasing that deer, God is watching. And if that lion has a will strong enough to get that deer to eat that deer, then that deer's got to live, that lion's going to get to eat that deer. That's just the way it goes. And I learned and I believe 100% in the values and the principles told to me by many veterans and World War II veterans, Vietnam veterans, who I'm going to tell you what, when I look at what's happening right now today, and I look at the time, like it has me always thinking back to when I was younger, the disgraceness with these Democrats too, when I think back in the 70s, the way they treated the Vietnam veterans. And you know, it's a sad situation why this is happening, because we're at that generational gap right now, where the majority of the Vietnam veterans are up there in the 70s and getting older, and they know that even though they have that fighting warrior spirit, they don't have the physical capabilities to take the war, and that's what's making the world so safe. They know the majority of that massive warrior base is not of fighting age, even though in the spirit is. I know Vietnam veterans who I love and admire, and I'm so proud that they like me, and they say they believe in me, and they count me a Patriot American. When I get told that by somebody, these men, to me it's an honor from these men, and it is, because they're really great warriors. They're great Americans. And the way that they were treated by the Democrats in the 70s, the way like with Hanoi Jane and that no good treasonous scumbag traitors that are rhinos in our government, with the unwelcoming return they got from Vietnam is just horrible. And you know what? But right now, after the Vietnam era, which had tens of thousands of true warrior Americans, after that we really haven't had much. Like you got the true warriors from Desert Storm, the Iraqi wars. These are true Patriot Americans that there's no question about. These men seen the face of death. They stood in the face of the death. They fought for the face of death. They were willing to die for this country, on a doubt. But their numbers are nowhere near the warrior base of foundation of what was the Vietnam veterans. Okay, so those men who have to take a stand now for this country have to rely on that of the on-knowing of the American here, that hopefully they will take a place, because they're going to need to grow the ranks. But in truth and honesty, I got to say, and it's unquestionable, I guess, too, because you have so many Cold War, where there are men that have been through the military, and they're military, and they deserve the respect that they signed that bottom line, were willing to put their life on the line, but they never seen or had to do anything. So there was never, ever really a true test to say, would they go through with putting their life on the line? We don't know. We don't know, but you have to honor and respect them, that they signed that paper and would have been put in a position, had the call come, they would have had to answer it, and they either would have put it on the line by going to face it, or, the rules of engagement with military, they would have been shot, for abandoning their post or position if they tried to bail on it as cowards. So, that's what I'm just saying. So, and I know right now a lot of the great warriors of what would have been a Vietnam era, and those of the true warriors that have seen action in this country, like Desert Storm, the Iraqi wars and things that took place from Vietnam after, they're questioning some of the true loyalty of those in our military right now, of a lot of the veterans within a lot of the militias and patriot groups across the country, because, you just know a shit talker when you hear it, and somebody who's talking BS when you hear it, and, I got a lot of people just playing that role. That's just, there's no time for games in this world right now. There's just no time for games. We got to keep it real, because reality is reality, and bullshit and lies are going to bring you a fantasy world of the Wizard of Oz. If we want a real America, and we want real futures for our children and our grandchildren, we got to keep it real. We got no room for error and no room for idiocy, really. And there's a lot of goddamn idiocy going on, and a lot of disgrace. Like I say, you got so many people that's just so disgraceful, trying to capitalize on this and play games with it. And when it comes down to actually doing something, cowards, just herds of cowards. In the last 15 years that I've been doing this, I have very few real, I can't say very few, but as far as on my part of what I come across with the Patriot groups and the meetings I've had, just, people are full of it. They're just full of it. It's just, luckily I got to say I have a pretty good size of, in 15 years, of people that I know that were true deal, but the numbers of what weren't, is 10 to 1 on them. So that's all I'm saying. But with that, again, I'm done. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for your time. If you like it, share it. You want to comment. You want to ask questions. And what I'll do is I'll upload this video to YouTube because I can't do it here. I'll upload it to YouTube. And when I upload to YouTube, I'll put the link back, and it'll have links to all the web pages of everything I used in here, statistics and valuations of criminal stats and what have you. Thank you again, everybody, for taking the time to watch my video, if you watched it all the way through, or if you watch it all the way through later. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time I make a video.